Ever watched those animes or read those mangas about a story of romance where the main boy character falls in love with a girl he meets during a club or a study section, or she's a foreign exchange student, or she came from another side of town, and even though he's only been with her for a while, he wants to date her, and is a happily ever after kind of ending. But then you always realize there's always that one girl who also crushes on him, that knew him way longer. But no matter what, she never stood a chance for the shitty writing that some Japanese folks make in their stories. And these are called the losing heroines. Losing heroines can be for many depictions, from shy girls to tomboys to childhood friends. They're all over the place. And usually they're seen as best girl and better choice, but the main character is too stupid to realize that they're the better option. I mean, imagine you knew a girl for almost your entire life. She seems pretty okay. Pretty cool, actually. More than okay. Great. I'm sorry I said okay. She's actually great. But you choose a girl you barely even know who's about to move away at the last moment and you want to confess your feelings to her because your childhood friend tells you to do so you won't regret it, even though she herself likes you. And you go off like the idiot you are to do so. And even in reality, it changes nothing. It's really like, you're like, why did you say so in the first place? These are how the girls that I'm talking about in this anime called Too Many Losing Heroines. The main character is the boy who considers himself as a background character, Nukumizu. Nukumizu is a dude who loves to read anime, read manga, and watch anime, and probably even play video games. He's an otaku. He doesn't have any friends, but he always observes things. He's always in the wrong situation at the wrong time. And one day he witnessed a typical anime manga moment where he sees a girl telling a guy, her childhood friend, to go in to catch the girl before she leaves, to confess your feelings to her. And he does. And at that moment, that's usually it for the childhood friend story. That's all they are used for, to push the main character to keep going. But what happens afterwards? And that's where things get interesting. Here you see her not looking around, make sure no one's looking, takes her childhood friend's drink and starts just enjoying it, just drinking it. An indirect kiss. It didn't do kiss. This is when you knew this anime was going to be peak comedy, hilariousness. This anime is being made by A1 Studios. A1 Studios is known for making great anime and good anime adaptations. However, they're always known for, mainly doing Sword Art Online. So a lot of people don't consider them as the top, even though myself believe they are the top. It's just that they just focus on Sword Art Online way too much, and people forgot about them as years went on, unfortunately. They always think it's Studio Mappa or Madhouse. But no, there's a lot of other studios out there that does great animation. Well, it's to do with fight scenes, but just good scenes to set the mood, the moment of a situation. And Studio A1 Pictures shows us that in this show. I mean, every episode feels like it could have been a high-budget anime movie, in my opinion. The hilariousness of the characters and the animation, the tones, the shadings, the lighting. It's so gorgeous. So, anyways, this boy, Nikumizu, follows three girls, and other than many of these three girls. Three girls, a childhood friend girl, a tomboy girl, and a very shy girl who's socially awkward in a way, and sees them being the losing heroines. The childhood friend one, as you know, is the loser because her childhood friend, even though promising to marry her at a young age, decides to fall in love with a girl he just met not so long ago. And now she has had to put up with being around them all the time because they don't want to leave her out, but it's making her miserable the entire time. But she herself is not perfect. Turns out she is kind of flawed. She is completely nonchalant about things and unaware of how she's treating certain people, like sitting over at someone's table and ordering food and never paying the freaking bill. Being in mouths of debt, and she is always eating all the time, which is best girl Anna, and in a way. She seems to grow in a very close bond towards the main character, but as friends, whereas she wants to get over her first childhood crush before she can truly move on to anything else. Next, you have Lemon. Lemon is a tomboy character, very energetic, always happy, acts silly, but deep down inside, she's probably the most mature character in the entire series. She hides that up with her silliness and also her depression. She also had a guy she liked who was very smart. However, that guy is fell in love with someone who was from a study session with him. Once again, someone he barely knew. He falls in love with them, and now she feels like she's off to the sidelines trying to be the tomboyish like character that she is. Next is a socially awkward girl from a literacy club where she doesn't really speak well, she can't talk well to others, she is so awkward in situations, very unhealthy, not that physically fits, all those character traits. And she is in love with a very tough, go getter kind of guy, but he's in love with his childhood friend, which is a childhood friend there. So, this situation, the childhood friend does win in that situation. So, these girls, even confessing their feelings, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, have to confront their broken hearts and find a way to move on. So, they all find sanctuary in the literature club, and where they freaking hang out and be friends and try to move on from their awkward situations that is life. And you see these girls interact with each other is hilarious. And how they just do crazy things, the animation, the awkward situations, the typical anime tropes that happens, and of course other characters that are involved as well. Some, of course, the student council, the little sister, the awkward adults in her life that are very immature. All those cliches come into mind when you're watching this anime, and it's freaking hilarious. All, but every now and then, with the comedy, it shows a serious but yet settled situation where the girls realize that this is it. They're going through this well, not even breakup, but this rejection. This is them failing to see their happiness, their happy ending in their high school lives. Doesn't mean their story's over with, but to them it is, in a way. Sometimes it took them a while to realize that they've been rejected. Some accept it right on the chin, but try to force it up with a smile, while others just went straight for it and ran off. And this boy has to watch it all. And since he is a background character and not a main character, he is there to support them as a support system to help them get through this heavy hurdle that they're going through, which I enjoy as well. So there's no relationship going on between the main characters. However, there is a certain ship that's being pushed between Anna and Nukumizu because the two just get along so well. Their chemistry is perfect, but knowing a Japanese writer that they are, they're probably not going to get together to the very end of the series. I mean, the light novels, because they just love doing that crap to people, don't they? I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Dude, I bet most of these writers have never really been in relationships or truly observed relationships, but they're just copying what other writers have done, which in my fact is kind of terrible. I mean, really terrible way of doing things. Yes, you could have a good execution of it, but the fact that the creator wrote this story proves how unoriginal so many of these Japanese fictional stories are compared to real romance that happens out. Like, we've all been through high school. We've all been through those situations. Whether we observed it or we've been through it ourselves, we still witnessed it one way or another. Unless you're completely just blocked off and not paying attention to anything around you, then that's your fault. But seeing this, it makes you feel like there's not much different kinds of romance that go on in Japan. You know, most of the times here in America, if you grew up with someone all your entire life, most of the times you end up kind of marrying them, especially back in the day. Back in the day, your next door neighbor's childhood friend would become your wife or something. That's just how it usually works, you know. You weren't out there exploring the country, let alone the world, and you just grew up in your town. You weren't really in cities, you know. Cities were mainly just for working, for the big business people, the high life, where the regular people stay in towns and countryside and stuff like that. So you only could marry the people that you knew your entire life because that was the best thing yet. Sure, you couldn't explore other options, but you always had a safe, secure net at the end of the day. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. So watching this really reminded me of that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, this now that there's more social activity that's happening in the world, there's different kinds of romances that are out there now. So there's the possibilities are limitless, but because of that, there seems to be less and less of relationships now than there were before. You know, you have all these people on these apps looking for dates, but no true official pairs, let alone successful pairs, are happening. So why am I bringing this up? I bring this up because watching too many losing heroines realizes how people aren't truly understanding the forces of relationships these days. It's just, you know, I have a crush, and I don't ask him out until the very end of the series. And that's just how it is most of the times. Every now and then you'll get a series where where the characters do ask each other out in the beginning, and they're understanding what it's like to be inside a relationship, or they ask each other out actually within the middle of the series, which is actually one of my favorites. They ask each other out in the middle of it, so therefore you can see them form an attraction to each other. Then they start to get to see them go out and stuff like that. I can't stand when they do that stuff at the end, or they're asking each other out at the end. That ticks me off, man. Unless you do a sequel to them, being together, then that's just perfect. But we rarely get that. But Two Meaning Losing Heroines is that show that tells you what happens to the girls that lose all the time. And it's really nice to see this depiction of them. There's different kinds as well, but these are the three main kinds: childhood friend, tomboy, and the socially awkward girl. Always those three, majority of the times. Never get the guy. It's always the typical girl that comes out of nowhere all the time, and a lot of people get tired of that most of the times. But anyways, this is definitely a must watch. It's big on there, and I'll try to do more under the radar ones, but I just want to say this one because I really am enjoying it. It's funny. Not for everybody. Viewer discretion is advised, but nonetheless, very good. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This is Madcrownxox on Anime. Signing out.